Hello, this is a quick demo and explanation of our command that is called the list. So the list command that you see here on the right is a very useful command, and it's actually a variable. So what it does is that when you open it here, you can put different rows of values, and then I will show you how you can display one full row, or you can display a certain column value of a row, just like a table like I highlighted here. You can actually access either this first column or this second column of the current row. So how it works is that the list will be a loop, and whatever you put inside as a command will be expressed on every cycle. So all the flow of commands that you nest inside the list will be called on each cycle. And here we only have an alert. So on the first cycle of the alert should show us the value of the first row. When we finish this alert, it will do a second round and it will pull the second line and it will display the second line as the alert. That's what it should do. And if you look at here, the way I do it is that I didn't put any data delimiter for the columns. This is the column delimiter. So I just want to see how this behaves. And all I do is that I use the alert command. The alert command just pops up and display the current value of a variable in your screen in a little pop-up, model pop-up window. So I just say current list value column, and then the syntax is that I use double curly brackets, and then I put the variable name, which is list with the L capital, and then I close with the double curly brackets, and that will express the current value of the current row. So let's look at it when we run it, what it does. So here I run it, and it should show us the first alert. So the first alert of the first row, that should be value 1 and value 2. And value 1.1, value 1.2. That's the case, value 1.1, and then column, value 1.2. That is what is in my row, in the first row. Now if I click OK, it's going to throw the second cycle. And now this is the alert of the second cycle. So now the list is presenting the second row, which is value 2.1, column, not column, pipe, value 2.2. Okay, I think here, so far so good. Now, let's say you want to use the columns and you want to display a specific value. For example, I just want to display value 1.2. So this is how you do it. If you want to go multi-column, the first thing you need to do is you need to specify the data delimiter, the column data delimiter. In this case, I'm using pipe, so I should use pipe here as delimiter. This is telling the list that every time you see a pipe, that means that we are changing column. Now, just from a mathematical or programming point of view, the first column is called actually column 0. So it starts with 0. So column 1 here is actually 0 in the system. And column 2, that we call humanly or in normal speaking we call column 2, that will be called column 1. So now, if I want to express the second column, then I use list, and then I use pipe, and I need to put 1, because this is the second column. The first column is 0, the second column is 1. So if I do list pipe 1, it should display value 1.2. And then when it runs again, it should display only value 2.2. That's what it's supposed to do. So let's try that. Okay, so here we go. It first displays value 1.2, which is the second column of the first row. And if I click OK, it will run again and display the second row and the value in the first column. So second column. So it will display value 2.2. So you got it, value 2.2 is here. Okay, so now we are doing multi-column use. So let me show you another example of why and when you want to use multi-column, even if it's not the best example. So let's say now, instead of just having some values like this, and I'm using pipe as a separator, I want to go to some websites. So I'm going to use HTTPS column and then google.com, and then I'm going to do the pipe, and I want just to use a message, we are on Google, and then I do a second line, HTTPS column / bing.com, and then column, and I want to use a message, we are on Bing. Let's give them both a capital letter. So now I have a table with first the URL in column 0, and then I have the message that I want to pass on column 1, which is the second column, yeah? So you got it, and then we go to Bing, and then we will alert that we are on Bing. Let's do that. So now, if you do that, I keep the alert, but before the alert, I'm going to put a go to URL to go to those pages. So now I first go to the URL, and now when I go to the URL, I want to catch the current value of the URL, which is list, and then pipe and 0, because the URLs are on the first column, which is called 0 in the system. So I use list pipe 0 to get google.com. That's what I'm doing here. I'm expressing that variable. So now it's going to load google.com on the first cycle, and then on the second cycle, it's going to load bing.com. So because I go to a URL, it's always good to give it a bit of time, just for us to at least see that this is loading. So I'm just going to wait 3 seconds. After I wait 3 seconds, now I want to display my message, which is here. The message is on the second column after the pipe. So I want to double check if we are really on Google. So then what I do here is that the alert is, I'm going to remove this first text, and it's list 1, because list 0 is the URL. List 1, which is the second column, is my message. So it will bring us to google.com and then alert the message that is related to google.com, which is in the list pipe 1, meaning the second column. So let's try this out and see if it goes both on Google and then on Bing and display the correct message. Okay, we are on Google now, so it should give me now the second column 1. We are on Google, that's good. And now it runs the second cycle, it goes to bing.com, and the message that is related to Bing in the next cell is we are on Bing. There we are on Bing, and that's it. That's basically the use case. You can go more complex, you can have more columns, but the idea is the same. The list will bring you row by row, and if you use a separator and you use list pipe numbers of positions of columns, you can call any value on that row that is separated by a separator. So that's how it works, and you can have as many columns as you want in a row, and as many rows as you want in the list. Now, if you have more than 1,000 rows here to call from, it's better to then call from a file. So you can put all the values in a CSV file or a text file, and then just select the file and load it, and then the list will load all those lines one by one for you. So this is when you have a lot of lines. But if you have, let's say, a few hundred or 1,000, you can just pile them up inside this manual entry. Welcome to the list mode, and looking forward that you make the best use of it. Thank you.